Welcome back to Joel Talks Politics. I just finished my quick reaction of Donald Trump's inauguration speech. It went just as bad as you would expect. If you disagree with me, you can call in tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern Time live. I take call-ins from anyone, liberals, conservatives, progressives, MAGA, whoever. If you want to talk about something, fill out the Google form in the description. I hope to see you there. Drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Again, live 10 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. I take calls from everywhere. It's super entertaining. I want to see you there, but here's my review of the inauguration. Please consider becoming a channel member. Thank you to our channel members. If you want to support this content and independent media, it's not going to be fun to report on this. If you want to support democracy and truth and progressivism and constitutional progressivism, please consider dropping a donation down below in the description or becoming a channel member. Thank you. It's inside because it's cold outside.
Trump.
It's cold out. Donald Trump said there's Arctic blasts, okay? There's Arctic winds in DC. The Arctic winds we're talking about are 22 degrees. The Arctic winds are 24 degrees. Actually, 26. The Arctic winds are 26 degrees. He can't be outside in the 26-degree weather. And besides, he can fit all of his big tech oligarchs there. That's what really matters. He doesn't care about the people. Why would he care?
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts.
He's too old for the cold. He shouldn't be president then. If you can't handle the cold, how are you going to handle Putin, dude? How can you handle Putin if you can't handle the cold?
Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now.
By the way, again, Gilded Age, that was terrible. Golden Age, they want to go back to the Gilded Age. If you have to name the age you're going into, then you don't really have any plans. You just say your plans, okay? You don't name the age before it happens. You name the age after it happens. But the fact they want to brand it already means they have no plans to stand on. They need to manipulate your thoughts and your opinions and your emotions. That's why all the propagandists, that's why all the big tech billionaires are there. That's why Joe Rogan's there, because they need all the propaganda on their side.
From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
He's not going to mention healthcare once. He's not going to mention wages at all. He's probably not going to mention inflation or grocery prices. Maybe inflation, but he's not going to mention grocery prices because he has no plans to do anything. He admits he has no plans. His only plans are to rename the Gulf of Mexico and to give a tax cut to all these guys standing up there, the tech billionaires, the tech oligarchs, Zuckerberg, Bezos, all the people he invited for his inauguration, while his supporters sit outside crying.
Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored.
Our sovereignty will be reclaimed.
The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government.
Oh, little baby need to cry.
End.
He's gonna cry. Oh no. I was so unfairly treated.
And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free.
All right, tell us about your plans, Bucko. Name one thing you want to do, buddy. Come on, Buck.
America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before.
All right, I get you're emotional. Tell me your plans. I know you're emotional. You're emotional.
I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country. Sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face.
All right. Okay, we're past the spoken word portion. Okay, we're past spoken word. We're gonna get to the meat of what we need to tackle as Americans. Good.
While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America.
Annihilated.
As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment
I wonder why people don't trust the establishment when you still denied the 2020 election.
has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while
Oh yeah, bro. Extracting power and wealth from the citizens when your first initiative as president is to raise the debt ceiling, to go into deficit spending, to give billionaires more tax cuts, to give billionaires higher tax breaks, to give billionaires special favors from the government, which is why you invited all the big billionaires into the Capitol. Again, while your supporters are outside, you have your little private meeting. Your cabinet is now full of the billionaires that own Microsoft, Google, Apple, all these big tech companies. Extracting wealth from the poor, giving it to the rich. That's literally the goal of Donald Trump. His administration did that more than any president in American history.
all the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad.
Okay, other people are the problem for everything, all right? All right, do you want to write like a Taylor Swift song crying about your ex-lover? Or are you going to talk like a grown adult man and tell us what we're going to do about anything?
It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American
Okay, I get it. Just talk about
citizens,
the
but
topic
provides
further.
sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have
Oh my God, this is
illegally
campaign
entered our
speech.
country
This is
from all
campaign
over the
speech,
world.
bro. This is campaign
We have
speech.
a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American
Unlimited
borders
funding
or, more
to foreign
importantly,
borders. Unlimited
its
funding.
own people.
Yep.
Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly.
The federal government and Joe Biden and Democrats released all the funding they could, all the funding they could. It's a bad situation, obviously. If we're grown-ups, we can say that and work on it. But the funding is held by the Republicans in Congress. In fact, Democrats were asking Republicans in Congress to increase FEMA funding, and the Republicans voted no. The Republicans wanted to decrease FEMA funding. So remember, he's lying his ass off right now.
And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago, or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's
These poor people that are worth $250 billion don't have a home. I feel so bad for them. Are you going to mention the working class people that built this country, that make this country run once? Are you going to mention the hardworking people that actually keep things going, the first responders? Are you going to mention people who do every job, electricians, mechanics, pipe fitters, anyone? Can you mention one working class person? Or do you want to keep on just giving your little back rub, your little massage, your they call it your happy ending massage to your billionaire donors? Are you going to keep on giving them all the praise, or do you want to talk about the American people?
interesting.
You want to just blame immigration? Blame immigration on everything. Never actually talk about what real Americans are facing.
But we can't
what real
let
people
this
are facing.
happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going
Hey, stop crying. Stop crying. Stop crying. Okay? Tell us what we're going to do.
to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver.
Dude, this guy is like a little emotional 12-year-old that listened to their first emo album. Holy crap, dude. Can he say one thing that's somewhat like sounds like a leader or sounds like someone who knows what they're doing? Anyone can talk like this, by the way. Anyone can complain about everything. Anyone can just
In
complain.
times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves.
No, we don't. We just don't have that. That's propaganda spread by people that can't have tough conversations, okay? Saying that slavery once existed in America and that, racism can still exist. Saying that, if you think that's an attack on you, all right, you just can't handle your emotions. We can have tough conversations. Why are we afraid to have tough conversations? Everyone is going to cry, be like, if you talk about this, you hate America. How about you just have the conversation instead of crying or running away from it? Because you're running away when you say, you hate America. Because obviously, If you want to talk to the random 1% of America that will actually hate America, you can. But you're being a kid that's searching out the whatever enemy, you could find that'll prove your point right. Come and talk to your community. Talk to real people in your community. I guarantee you we can find productive ways to reach conclusions in America that are not just hatred and violence and stupidity. We can come together as people. We don't need to listen to these oligarchs, to these ultra-powerful rich billionaires tell us why we should hate each other. This entire speech Trump is giving is why we should hate each other, hate government, hate everything else. He's not giving any vision for the future on how to work hard or build anything, because he never did that in his entire life.
In many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately.
It's like you tell your significant other that there's something you need to work on in the relationship, and you instantly start going, "You hate me, don't you?" It's like, no, I just think we need to get up and work out sometimes because I don't feel healthy. But you hate me, don't you? No, we just we have communication issues. But you hate me. You are that person in the relationship. You are that person in the relationship. You ruin all conversations that can even possibly be productive.
To provide to them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly.
No solutions, broad criticisms, vague criticisms, no solutions. Cry, 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 wah, wah, wah. I'm angry.
My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal. And all of these.
Oh, it's a betrayal now. It's a betrayal. All this emotional wording, bro. I can go listen to a Taylor Swift album. I can go listen to a grunge album or an emo album. I can go listen to Linkin Park. I could go listen to it. If I want to hear crying, there's much more motivational forms of crying that I can be participating in.
Place and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on,
your freedom's
America's
been taken.
Decline is over.
All right, that's verse number 10 of Cry, 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 bad things, terrible, bad things are done. No more bad, no more bad, no more bad, golden age, slogan, slogan, slogan.
Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty.
You said this already.
Of America's government.
You said this already 10 times.
Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president.
It's so unfair. You see him crying again. He's crying again.
Learned a lot.
We need a cry counter. New drinking game. Whenever Donald Trump cries.
Has not been
whenever he cries, drink.
Those who wish to stop
You'll be dead.
Cause have tried to take my freedom, and indeed,
they're trying to take my freedom.
Take my life.
And try to take my life.
A few months ago,
yes, the random assassin.
An assassin's bullet ripped through my ear.
That was them. It
But
ripped
I felt
through his
then
ear.
And believe even more so now that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
Bro. Okay, saying that God saved your life and he just chose to redirect that bullet into Corey's head. Okay, God did not grant you that favor, and it's pretty disrespectful to Corey's family. Okay, Corey did not deserve to die, Trump. I don't know why you think that. Why is everyone celebrating Corey dying? God chose Corey to die that day. Why is everyone clapping for Corey getting shot? Guys, why are you clapping? Corey got shot. He was a firefighter. He served this community. He got shot. Why are you happy about this? Why did God choose that decision? Did God say, Corey, you gotta go? Did God say, Trump's about to get, hurt. We gotta redirect that bullet and Corey needs to catch it? Why are you clapping for Corey? Come on. Okay, Trump's gonna mention Corey. He's gonna mention him. Corey's the firefighter that actually got ended, shot on that day, tragically.
Thank you very much.
He's gonna mention Corey. And Corey will be the first. He'll be the first firefighter or working class person that Trump mentions this entire speech. Okay, he's gonna mention Corey. Just wait for it. He's going to mention Corey, the guy who actually died that day.
Under our administration.
Oh, wait. He's not going to mention Corey because he never cared about Corey. He put Corey's uniform on stage for a political prop. Trump never cared at all. Trump just said, God saved me on that day because I'm so important. I'm so important. I went through so much political persecution the past 8 years, including them trying to kill me. And that assassin on that day he ripped apart my ear and almost got me. No mention of Corey. God chose that day to save me. Meanwhile, no one remembers Corey now. Like Trump's never going to talk about Corey again because he never did care. Trump never cared. I thought he was going to mention Corey. I really did. But again, we're on the streak of Donald Trump not mentioning one working class or middle class person this entire speech.
American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope,
live, laugh,
prosperity,
love.
safety,
live, laugh,
and
love.
peace for citizens of
live,
every
laugh, love.
race, religion, color,
live,
and creed.
Laugh,
for
love.
American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day.
Aw, we have a cute day. Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love. Live, laugh, love. Aw, it's so cute.
It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every...
Is the agenda going to just be mass deportations? Is there any policy to address any issue? That was like a top 5 issue for the economy. Is he going to mention one of those topics at all?
Element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, and very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states, and the popular vote, we won by millions of people.
Okay, the number one Trump policy, the number one policy he ever had was, I won. That's his policy, okay.
To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor, we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true.
I bet kids in 5 years are going to think MLK shared the same opinions as like Clarence Thomas or Thomas Sowell. By the way, if MLK was alive today, just to make sure we can like go over that quick, Donald Trump would call MLK a radical socialist communist and an enemy to America. Just to get that straight. Like he would be calling MLK a radical he would be a threat to America under Donald Trump's own definitions. By far, like far in that direction. He'd say he hates America, he's radical, he wants to overtake America with critical race theory. Like I guarantee you, if MLK was alive today, that's the treatment he would get.
National unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country. We will not forget our Constitution.
Oh, I forgot Mark Robinson. Mark Robinson was Martin Luther King on steroids. Remember Mark Robinson. Google him, the lieutenant governor for North Carolina that ran for governor. Donald Trump said Mark Robinson is Martin Luther King on steroids.
And we will not forget our God. Can't do that.
Isn't our God, is that wrong? Isn't he the God, or isn't he just like under God? Our God, I guess.
Today I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America
Deportations and
the
border.
revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense.
First executive order.
First, I
The
will
border.
declare
Border.
a national
Deportation.
emergency
At the
our
border.
southern border.
Yep, okay. That's the only thing Trump is... That's why they couldn't pass the policy on the border. That's why they voted down the border bill. And it wasn't Ukraine funding, by the way. Ukraine funding was still passed. The foreign aid funding was still passed in a separate bill. But this is why they shot down that bill for the border that would have helped fix it, in some regard at least. It was the most aggressive conservative legislation on the border in American history. But they voted against it so Donald Trump could do this. So Trump could use it for political reasons.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country.
All right, so those are our three top policies, our border, border, border. By the way, if you call immigrants or illegal immigrants or undocumented immigrants, if you call them illegal aliens, you're not a Christian. Full stop, okay? You're not a Christian if you call them illegal aliens, all right? If you want to use a legal definition and you say it's illegal immigration or it's, asylum seekers or undocumented, illegal aliens is directly against God and Jesus. Jesus did not believe. God did not believe. Jesus transcends nations, okay? Nations in general. Nationalism is anti-Jesus as well. Just so you know. Jesus would never call another person not only illegal, but also an alien. Jesus would never call someone an alien. You are being anti-Christ. I'm sorry, sir.
Country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
Okay, so the big complication there, that's the first real policy thing he said. Designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. So that, number one, sets up denaturalization in the 14th Amendment because they want to argue that foreign nations or terrorist organizations are invading America. Therefore, if they invaded America, you can take away the naturalization, take away the citizenship of the birthright citizenship of American citizens who are born on American soil. So that's number one. Number two, saying they are terrorist organizations means you can use the U.S. military against them. So using the U.S. military to build the border wall, to crack down on U.S. cities, U.S. towns, because they lie about everything. Trump said the Cybertruck bomber was an immigrant. The New Orleans truck driver, that murderer, also, Trump said that was an illegal immigrant. So Trump is going to label everyone as an illegal immigrant and then say they're all terrorists. And then the military can now have justification to crack down on them. And also, that's when they talk about taking the military into Mexico, crossing the southern border, and waging war on the cartels. So, yeah, you're setting the stage to use active military presence and aggression on the cartels, whatever that definition will expand to under Donald Trump. But there is a huge ramification to Donald Trump saying that. What's up, Caveman? Haven't seen you around.
And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act.
Yep, there you go, the Alien Enemies Act
of 1798.
There you go.
I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil.
But remember, Donald Trump considers this to be every single immigrant. Every single immigrant. He has no differentiation between any immigrant. Even if the crime rate for illegal or legal immigrants is extremely low, he still is going to say that you know, every person in this country is an evil cartel, violent offender. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. And that's what their plan is.
including our cities and inner cities.
Because no one disagrees, okay? No one disagrees that you should take care of anyone that is violent, okay? There's a legal process and deportation process for violent offenders. But these laws are so broad and not regulated, so I wouldn't be surprised if nonviolent offenders, definitely nonviolent offenders, who do something illegal, but also just people in general that have lived in communities for years and years, being ripped out of their homes is probably going to be a norm. And also, some U.S. citizens are going to be wrapped up in that because they don't care. They really don't care about following legal processes. Who controls the law? Donald Trump. Who controls intelligence? Donald Trump. Who controls law enforcement? Who controls the military? Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth. So I would not be surprised if some U.S. citizens got wrapped up in this. In the huge camps they want to build in Texas, by the way, the huge camps where they can make immigrants, they can focus immigrants, they can make immigrants focus in a particular area, really focused in one camp, sort of like a focused concentration camp.
As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I...
And again, calling it invasion. Trump's lawyer that tried to help him steal the election with the fake electoral scheme, that same lawyer made the legal argument you could take away naturalization and go against the 14th Amendment if under the threat of invasion. So, like, for example, if a foreign government invades America, if America had a war, like Russia and Ukraine right now, if a country invaded the U.S. and their child was born in the U.S., okay, so there's a pregnant soldier or occupier or invader pregnant in the U.S., they have a kid here that's a citizen. Their argument is that under the 14th Amendment, that does not, during wartime or during an invasion, justify giving birthright citizenship. That's the whole argument. They want to supersede the 14th Amendment to take away naturalization and to take away citizenship.
I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Next, I will direct...
And again, no policies on the economy, no policies on healthcare, no policies on wages, no policies on national security.
...all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly...
Okay, here's inflation. Let's see if he says anything that makes any economic or policy sense. Anything economic or policy. Let's see if he says something.
...bring down costs and prices.
Because during the campaign, his policy was make things cost less, bring down prices. He never gave an actual policy or how he's going to do something. Usually if you hire a contractor or hire a mechanic or hire a plumber or hire anyone that builds something, they give you a plan for what they're going to do before they start hacking away at your house, right? So Donald Trump, is he going to give an actual plan or just say, I will make costs lower, it'll be lower, much lower, because I want a man with a plan before I hire them for a job, typically, you know? Normal standard for hiring someone.
The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare...
Donald Trump, by the way, did the majority of that overspending, and a lot of that overspending was tax cuts for billionaires and trillionaires. Although Donald Trump wants you to forget history and forget what happened just a few years ago.
A national energy emergency.
National energy emergency. We're producing all-time levels of oil production. If you want to nationalize oil companies and put price controls on it, you can recommend that. But these are private industries. Just saying we need to hack away at the environment as quickly as possible, increasing our crude oil supply without increasing our refineries does not decrease prices. And either way, it's private reserves. It's private control. So that oil made in America can be sold abroad, and oil is brought in from abroad to be used in America, and natural gas and gasoline and etc. So this makes no sense either.
We will drill, baby, drill.
Yep, there it is. Slogan, emotion, slogan, emotions, emotion, slogan, emotions, slogan.
Drill.
Notice how on immigration, he had a 20-step plan. All right, these illegal, disgusting, these illegal aliens, we're going to get them out of our country. They are invading. We're going to designate them as terrorist organizations. And therefore, we can use like the military and all law enforcement to use the 1800s law on alien invasions to go through and dissect America and rip it apart to make sure we get all these immigrants out of our country. He had a very, very, very meticulous plan for that. Very well thought out, very, very hardcore plan for that. For all of these issues, he's saying slogans, and these dumbasses are raising their hands up in the air when he says literally anything, bro. Literally anything. He did not say one word that made any sense right there about bringing costs down at all. He said, lower costs. I'm going to make costs lower. Inflation's bad because of overspending, the overspending that he did a lot of. And also, by the way, drill baby drill, 2 slogans. They think you're dumb. I think you're smarter as Americans, okay? I don't think Americans are dumb. He does. He thinks you're going to buy into it. Without him needing to have one plan or doing one thing, he thinks you're going to buy into it. And still, not one mention of the working class, not one mention of unions, not one mention of healthcare, not one mention of childcare, not one mention of housing costs.
America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have.
Biden added more manufacturing jobs. Don't forget.
Largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it. We're going to use it. We will bring prices down.
Okay, there's the policy. We're going to bring prices down, guys. That's my policy.
Fill our strategic reserves up again.
The strategic reserves are being replenished at a very quick rate.
Right to the top.
Right to the top.
American
right to
energy
the top, dude.
all over the world.
Right to the top. Wait, we're going to use American energy to lower costs, or we're going to sell it all over the world? Which one are we going to do? And what do you mean we? This is ExxonMobil and a bunch of other huge companies. What do you mean we? I thought you said we're going to use it here to lower costs. Okay, we're not going to? Oh, wait, I'm confused. Wait a second.
We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet.
That Velveeta, baby. We got that Velveeta under our feet, bro. We got Velveeta cheese.
That will
liquid
help
gold.
to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal and we will revoke
the Green New Deal that never happened. This is another example of Republicans making up an issue that never happened and fighting against it. Boxing shadows, boxing ghosts. The Green New Deal that never happened. We are going to end it.
The electric vehicle mandate.
Bro, the electric vehicle mandate.
Saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers.
The auto workers, who do you think makes electric cars? The electric car mandate, that's not even a thing nationwide, but still, even if it were, who do you think is going to make the cars? How is it an attack on auto workers to make a different kind of car? Do you think the current auto workers would not be involved in making the new electric cars? Are they like, do we have to hire new electric car makers in America? Like the same plans can be adjusted for these other vehicles. I don't know what that means. Well, no, Elon Musk wants the EV mandate and the EV tax credit to be ended because now Tesla is able to sustain, especially because Elon Musk is so rich, but they have all their fundamental infrastructure pretty set, and he's going to get more government contracts for superchargers, I bet. But now the electric car tax credit only serves to help Elon's competitors. So like it helped the free market be more healthy because Tesla was not the only electric car on the market. But if you end the electric car tax credit, now all these other companies that have been producing electric vehicles to compete, these same car companies are going to decrease their electric car manufacturing because the incentives are lower because that tax credit will no longer exist.
In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible.
Biden has more cars being built in America than Trump did
just
again.
A few years ago. And thank you to the...
That's why the Auto Workers Union endorsed and voted for Democrats more.
Auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. Okay,
so remember, tariffs are import taxes. So it's like a sales tax. corporations don't pay the sales tax when you buy something. You have a sales tax on your receipt when you buy something, right? So in the same way, an import tax, if I buy something from abroad, that company's not going to pay for it. They're going to give me that import tax. So saying that we're going to tax other companies and use the External Revenue Service, which he's probably going to bring up, that dumb fake agency, it makes no sense. Tariffs are an import tax. You're taxing Americans and American companies. You're taxing Americans on imported goods. You're taxing Americans. You're taxing Americans.
For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service.
There it is.
To collect all tariffs, duties.
I swear to God, he says something really dumb and he kind of backs it up with a slogan, so you stop thinking. Say something dumb and then have a slogan, and then your brain shuts off.
And revenues, it will be massive
drill,
amounts
baby,
of money
drill.
pouring into
Drill,
our treasury,
baby, drill.
coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving
With the
like
Trump
never
meme
before
coin.
to restore competence and
Drill,
effectiveness
baby,
to our
drill.
federal government.
Get the
My
Trump bucket helmets out, guys.
administration will
Drill,
establish
baby,
the brand
drill.
new Department
Drill,
of
baby,
Government
drill.
Efficiency.
Drill, baby, drill. All hail Plankton. Department of Government Efficiency. The fake agency that has not done anything or offered any advice or any policies. But again, slogans. This is all slogans and emotions. This entire speech is slogan and emotions. Remember that.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal
Yeah, export taxes. Let's do export taxes. Wait, wouldn't export taxes and I don't know.
efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
Bro, free speech has been taken. Free speech is when I could say slurs on Twitter, okay? If I can't say slurs on Twitter, I have no free speech in America. That's what they mean, by the way. Because free speech was not limited, unless if you were literally just saying the COVID vaccine was a bioweapon. By the way, and all these billionaires, the oligarchs, Bezos, Musk, Washington Post, CEO, TikTok, whatever, Bezos alone has censored like 15 articles or whatever that are negative against Donald Trump from Washington Post, because he owns that, of course. Elon Musk bans accounts that disagree with him. So all the oligarchs, all the tech oligarchs here, are the most anti-free speech people in American history, and they sell our information without our consent, and now they're like in Donald Trump's cabinet without getting confirmed or elected. Donald Trump Jeff Bezos banned political cartoons about Trump, like a basic political cartoon criticizing Trump's nominees for the cabinet. They blocked it. A very simple political satire cartoon. Like, that's insane levels of censorship.
Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents. Something I know something about.
And also, every charge Trump had was legitimate. You can argue. The only thing you could argue about any of the hush money cases is the. Well, actually, no. It was all illegal. Everything was illegal about it. I mean, if I talk to a Trump supporter about it, they admit it's illegal. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it, to be honest.
We will not allow.
The January 6th stuff is the worst, though. The fake elector scheme, the pressuring of states to throw away ballots and to lie about their elections, to send fake electors to the electoral college, and also pressuring Mike Pence after Mike Pence said he's not going to certify the fake slate of electors, and having an angry mob go to the Capitol. That was like that entire scheme. January 6th is probably the least worrisome part of the entire election overturn scheme Trump had, including the fact that Trump still lies about it today.
Allow that to happen. It will.
And remember, Trump is going to pardon all the cop beaters. All the cop beaters on January 6th, Trump loves them. He's going to pardon all the cop beaters. Trump referred to the cop beaters as us, and he referred to the cops as them. So us for Trump is anyone who supports me, including those who beat cops, and them is anyone who's against me. So if you're a cop and you stand up against me or my supporters, you are them. You are the anti-me. You are against me. You're not on my team. That's what Trump said.
Will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life.
Bro, you guys saw first responders running in the fires in California, and the first thing you did was you brought up their gender and sexuality. You saw people running into other people's homes to save other people's families in California. These first responders, you did not congratulate them. Not congratulate, sorry. You did not thank them once. You did not appreciate first responders once. The first thing you did, your entire party, the first thing you guys did was blame the fire on lesbians and say that they are DEI hires, although the LA Fire Department is made up of 3% women. The first thing you did is bring gender, race, and sexuality into it. Kamala Harris did not talk about her race, gender, or sexuality this entire campaign. Trump brought up her gender every day. Is she really black? Is she just turned black one day? They brought that up constantly. Kamala Harris tried to avoid that topic. Republicans had to pound that issue regardless because Americans love talking about it. You're addicted to it. All you talk about is race, gender, and sexuality.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Pete Hegseth, merit-based, 04 military, all right? Usually 010s get the chance to be Secretary of Defense. Pete Hegseth cannot maintain a job at a nonprofit, which is the easiest job to keep, okay? Cannot maintain that job. Cannot maintain a job from nonprofits that he helps lead because he's a raging drunk who assaults women, okay? We don't know the nature of the assault, but we know he assaults women. We don't know the full extent, but there are too many NDAs to know. All right, too many NDAs. But Pete Hegseth is the example of a DEI hire who's unqualified. All right, when people say, oh, "Look at that black pilot," they must be unqualified. That's one of the dumbest things you can possibly say in American history. All right. Anyone, by the way, who watches this video who wants to talk about DEI, I want to talk about DEI all day now. Okay, schedule a call with me. Send me an email, joel@talkspolitics@gmail.com. Let's have a conversation about DEI, and I want to know what you really think about it. Because I guarantee you don't really know what it means or anything about it.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Oh, man. Zero economic policies, okay? Zero working class people mentioned. He brought up the assassination attempt, said God saved him, did not bring up Corey, who actually died on that day, okay? He could not even mention Corey, who was a firefighter that served his community. Zero policies, zero healthcare, zero childcare, zero education, zero any issue that affects the American people. Only a plan to use the U.S. military in Mexico to avoid the Constitution, to bypass the 14th Amendment, to just like shut down provisions of the Constitution you disagree with. He brings up all these different things, all right, about gender, race, pronouns, DEI. He brings up zero about policies to fix energy costs or inflation or groceries or anything to help Americans in general. Zero policies about that. But everyone's going to cheer and scream for drill, baby, drill. Gender and DEI, there's two pronouns. You realize you're being led around like a little cat with a laser pointer, so you don't pay attention to issues that actually affect you and your family. Your emotions are being kept captive. They're using your emotions against you. It's like in Pokemon when you attack, and it says that you hurt yourself in your own confusion. That's what's happening right now, bro. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah, I'm farming these TikTok clips. You see these? Do you see all these TikTok clips I'm farming right now? You guys gotta admit, I'm getting good at that TikTok clip game. That's a really solid TikTok clip. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty solid.
This week, I will reinstate
Stop pausing the video.
service members
Stop pausing the video. Stop pausing the video. Guess what? You're banned.
who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay.
Full back pay is crazy. Oh no! Is he gonna say we're gonna stop requiring polio vaccines, bro? Is he gonna say it? Is he gonna? Dude, is he gonna say that we're gonna stop having like vaccines nationwide? Is he really gonna say this? I hope he doesn't, bro. That actually would have really bad impacts. Like, unironically, that would be really, really bad. As long as they don't take away our right to a vaccine, especially with things like the bird flu on the rise. If there is a vaccine that they can approve, I hope they still approve it. I hope they don't restrict our ability to get vaccinated. But I mean, let's see what he says.
And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately.
Political theories and social what? What? Bro, what are you talking about?
Our armed forces will be free to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies.
I'm sorry, bro, but if having a simple conversation about like racism or about, I don't know, gender or sexuality, if having that conversation ruins your ability to attack enemies, domestic and abroad, and to defend America, if that simple conversation ruins your ability to interpret the world and reality, all right, you gotta toughen up a little bit mentally. Like, that should not derail your entire life. I'm sorry, but that should not derail your entire life. Do not believe their propaganda. They're like, they want your emotions to be firing in all the wrong directions. The idea that these topics would ruin our fighting force, or ruin our firefighting force, or ruin our law and order, or like push dangerous political theories, these are conversations. You don't gotta be afraid of conversations. All right, you don't gotta ban books. We can have a conversation as neighbors, okay? Don't listen to these rich elites trying to divide us. Don't listen to the establishment trying to divide us here. Yeah, good point. I love that comment. Again, he's not talking about any material issues for any American, for any soldiers, for mental health for vets, for homeless veterans. The veteran suicide rate is so high. Okay, he's not talking about funding healthcare, doing anything substantial, increasing wages, fixing our country for the better, supporting our troops in ways that fundamentally would change lives. He's talking about gender and pronouns again. You're so obsessed with gender and pronouns that you're not talking about the real issues that actually do affect the troops. You're not talking about anything except gender, race, and pronouns. You are the person obsessed with it. People who talk about gender, race, and pronouns, other than 1% of Twitter, they just want to be able to be gay, be trans, and live their lives with equal protection under the law. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is here, mauling, getting so mad, making people get distracted. Trump is going to give back pay to all the people that couldn't get the COVID vaccine before he's going to help homeless vets. I'm in shambles.
Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
Remember, I don't want to pause this much, but he lies a lot, okay? Donald Trump had 4 more times troops die under his watch. 4 times more troops die under his watch than Biden did. 4 times, all right? Biden had like 16 die, Trump had like 64. But they over-politicized the Afghanistan pullout, which Trump orchestrated, and Biden was forced to follow through with. They politicized the death of those soldiers, in a disgusting manner, by the way. But no one ever talks about Donald Trump increasing total conflict globally. They say Donald Trump started no wars. He increased conflict globally. If you want to use the word war and be all technical about the definitions, sure. But he increased conflict globally. Biden decreased overall conflict. And the ceasefire that they're giving him credit for with Israel right now and Palestine, Netanyahu admit that Trump said it's a temporary pause for the inauguration, and Israel is going to come back more aggressive than ever before in a week or two. It's a temporary ceasefire on purpose to give Trump his propaganda week or two. But I'm sure the right-wing media did not report about that, did they? Yeah, and the whole wars thing is stupid anyway. It's like, what wars did Biden declare? But it's propaganda. It's slogans, it's propaganda. It's designed for people to not think. Like Congress declaring a war, or like Iraq,
My proudest
Afghanistan.
legacy
Like what war did Obama
will
like
be that
openly
of
declare
a
himself? Like,
peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier.
as he's starting conflicts with our allies, saying he's going to take Greenland and Canada. And Canada. We can't even, Donald Trump hates our allies. He talks bad about all the free countries, Germany, UK, France, Canada. He talks in amazing ways about the authoritarian countries. He loves Russia and China. He loves how they roll over the people with an iron fist, in his own words. But he hates all the free liberal democracies. Really funny how that works.
Pleased to say that as of
He wants to leave NATO too. Is he going to leave NATO? I know he's going to leave the Paris Climate Accord. Although even ExxonMobil says we should not leave the Paris Climate Accord. Trump's going to leave that, I'm pretty sure, on day one. But is he going to leave NATO? I know he wants to raise the NATO spending target to 5%. He wants to raise the NATO spending to 5%. No military spends 5% of their GDP on military, or no country does. No country spends 5% of their GDP on military, but he wants to increase it. He'll probably leave NATO as a gift to China and Russia. I'm assuming.
Today, one day before
I don't know when, but
assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families.
with the deal Biden negotiated months ago. Biden had this deal like 6 or 8 months ago, and Trump was in conversations with Israel to purposely delay the ceasefire for Trump's inauguration. It's probably similar to Reagan working with Iran on the hostages to not release them to hurt Carter politically. It's probably in the same level or worse. And this was openly admitted by Trump's campaign, by the way.
Thank you. America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs.
Yes, the egg prices are coming down. Woo! This is boring. I might have to cut it off.
President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent. He was a natural businessman
through tariffs.
And gave Teddy Roosevelt the money for many of the great things he did, including the Panama Canal, which has foolishly been given to
Oh, here
the
we
country
go.
of Panama after the
Here we
United
go.
States. The United States, I mean, think of this, spent more money than ever spent on a project before and lost 38,000 lives in the building of the Panama Canal. We have been treated very badly from this foolish gift that should have never been made.
That's not true, by the way.
Panama's promise to us has been broken. The purpose of our deal and the spirit of our treaty
That's not
has
true
been
either.
totally violated. American ships are being severely
So
overcharged.
the number for Americans that died building it because of diseases mostly, and that's why people died 100 years ago, mostly diseases, which they want to bring that back as well. But like 5,000 Americans died building it. 22,000 French died building it. 22,000 French. The total number is around like 30,000. The 38,000 number. So when Trump says 38,000 Americans died building the Panama Canal, just remember he's openly just lying. That's a fabricated number beyond comprehension. Like that's such a bad lie. It's so far past the actual number of people that died building it. And also the idea that commitments were broken, that's not true. But he lies about everything. You can just Google this, by the way. You can verify it. 38,000 people did not die building that, especially not U.S. soldiers during the period of the construction. Because there were 2 different construction periods that were big focuses. We helped complete it. But yeah, 5,000 Americans died building the Panama Canal, not 38,000.
Charged and not treated fairly in any way, shape, or form, and that includes the United
Nah, he says 38, I'm pretty sure.
States Navy. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we
That's
didn't
not
give
true.
it to China. We gave it to Panama.
That's not true either. He says there's soldiers on either side. That's just not true. You can look up videos of people crossing through. There's not a China occupation there. What they do talk about is companies and investment influence there, which if you had an issue with different countries investing in Panama, you should probably be making our relationships better and using diplomacy like a real leader would do, and having more investments for the U.S. be done there. But no, Trump is like weakening our relationship with Panama, making that less difficult and making conflict more likely.
And we're taking it back.
So yeah, like when he says we're taking it back, by the way, there is no military occupation of the Panama Canal. Everything he says along these lines is pro-war. It's pro-conflict. It's pro-trade war. It's pro-actual war. Economic sanctions. It's going to cause issues. You know, it's not Fortnite. You can't just go in gamer chat and yell whatever you want, especially when you're lying your ass off about it. But yeah, everything he just said is a lie. And taking it back has a lot of implications, considering like 140, I don't know, like 80, 100, whatever number of countries use the Panama Canal. So it instantly becomes a global conflict because so many countries rely on the Panama Canal. And again, you can readjust your relationships with different areas. And maybe the idea is we're going to be another like empire that threatens violence for every country in the world. We're going to threaten violence everywhere and threaten to take you over with tariffs and our military. But also, that's going to cause conflict and wars. There's no way we just avoid conflict by doing that. There's smart ways to go about this, and there's dumb ways to go about it. If you think there's an issue there, by the way, because there's an argument if there's even an issue at all. Because this is a new topic Trump did not talk about on the campaign trail. But yeah, this is just like stupid. Egg prices, woo! And like for farmers and for groceries, egg prices right now are probably one of the most pressing issues, and the bird flu in general. The bird flu has killed like 14 million birds in America. That's not getting any mention here at all.
Above all, my message to Americans today is that it is time for us to once again act with courage, vigor, and the vitality of history's greatest civilization. So as we liberate our nation, we will lead it to new heights of victory and success. We will not be deterred. Together we will end the chronic disease epidemic and keep our children safe, healthy, and disease-free. The United States will once again consider itself a growing nation, one that increases our wealth, expands our territory, builds our cities, raises our expectations, and carries our flag into new and beautiful horizons. And we will pursue our manifest destiny into the stars, launching American
Manifest
astronauts
destiny
to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
Bro. So, manifest destiny, and that goes back again, 1800s, I'm pretty sure, right? 1800s, where America felt the need, and yeah, we're talking about Louisiana Purchase, annexing Texas, acquiring a bunch of different states, having a war with Mexico for territory. Yeah, that's not a good thing to talk about manifest destiny again. And that ties back to why Trump is talking about Greenland, the Gulf of America, Canada, Mexico, Panama. The idea that America should be a supercontinent and America should all be controlled by the United States. It's a really dangerous ideology. There's a reason we moved away from it. And it ties back to like God as well. It's a God-given right for the U.S. to conquer other nations, essentially, and land in general. It leads to violence and leads to trade wars and leads to conflict. So,
is the lifeblood of a great nation.
Okay, lifeblood of a great nation. This is going into the, I don't want to use the big word. This is the fascist part of the speech. We're getting into the fascist, expansionist, authoritarian part of the speech.
And right now our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation.
Remember that and American exceptionalism, there's no nation like our nation. We deserve to have this land. Even NVIDIA, by the way, NVIDIA, which makes graphic cards and chips and AI technology now, their stock price is going crazy because of AI. They used the word lifeblood as well in their statement coming out in support of Donald Trump. So the word lifeblood, or the blood of America, is very big in fascist ideology because it supersedes personal freedom and individuality to instead support the nation and nationality above all. And it usually is above God too. Although they still talk about God, but it usually is above God. But when Trump says immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, it also calls back to that. And that's why Hitler said that quote. When Hitler initially said immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, that's the fascist ideology. You're poisoning our lifeblood. We are like the nation is an organism we're all a part of, and we need to expand. We have a right to expand, no matter like what it takes. Now how far he takes that is obviously yet to be seen. But these are very bad ideologies.
Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts.
Yeah, well, it's also not good to talk about tariffs being our primary tax source. That's what happened in the Gilded Age and led to 20th century slave labor and Pinkertons murdering strikers. Well, yeah, we're leading to neo-feudalism, or we're leading to another Gilded Age, whatever you want to call the system. We're leading to a system, this oligarchical system, where the rich control all policy of the government, and the only debate is on how to manage the populace, how we can effectively manage the populace. It's not really focused on democracy. And the Gilded Age was bad, and they call this the Golden Age already before it happens. They're calling it the Golden Age. So they're intending to make this the new Gilded Age, okay? And that always ends in violence, a revolution, or an authoritarian takeover, or a war, or something. Now, they could be cosplaying, okay? They could be cosplaying, and maybe the deep state and big tech juggernauts will make sure that that doesn't happen because it's bad for business. But it's still bad to even go down this road. And Trump did not talk about this much during the pandemic, or not the pandemic, but during the campaign. He did not talk about Greenland. He did not talk about Manifest Destiny in Canada, but he did say really fascist things like the poisoning blood of America for immigrants, and hating immigrants and dehumanizing immigrants, and hating academia, and hating doctors, and hating medical science, and hating intellectualism. That's all signs you're leading to a really bad ideology.
And no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken.
Every single legal trial now at the federal level is a political trial. So Donald Trump's loyalists are in every position for national intelligence, national security, for FBI, CIA, Secretary of Defense, the judiciary. So when it comes to law and federal cases and the DOJ, Attorney General, everything is now a political trial, almost like an impeachment, but it's really interesting. Many government services you take for granted are probably not going to function as well as they used to, but Trump is right. The people have chosen to choose someone who tried to overturn an election. The people have chosen someone who has been anti-Constitution on many different grounds, very aggressively and explicitly. Someone who's trying to overturn parts of the Constitution right now, or not overturn, but just ignore and do his own thing, not really caring for the Constitution. If the American people want to vote away the Constitution, they can. Democracy has been functioning. Even if you think money is a big influence, even if you think there's too much power in money, democracy has functioned. All these countries with universal healthcare and all these different things, they did exist without those before. Democracy does work. But yeah, democracy worked in this direction this time.